be occult, meaning that you can't see it necessarily, and it's hidden, and you'll see it during development with lower extremity weakness. So very extreme where you get a noticeable spinal injury. So there could be different ranges. This is why this disorder is actually why the march of times exists, more or less. Y'all heard that before? So spinal bifida is largely preventable. There's like genetic component, so it's not 100% preventable. But it used to be a lot more common than it is today, because we learned that part of the way your neural tube zips up during development is through the mother's access to folic acid. So the mother, that's why if you've ever been, woman in here, if you've been to an OB/GYN, they're like pushing the folic acid on you, right? If you're childbearing age. And that's why. Because that neural tube development happens within the first 6 weeks and you might not even know you're pregnant. And so if you're not taking regular folic acid, that injury could occur before you even realize that you need to be upping your folic acid intake. If that makes sense. The funny thing in my experience is that the OBs don't always know that. They don't always know why anymore. They just know they're supposed to be giving you the folic acid supplements. So that's the reason why. It's because that neural tube defects by and large. And again, it's not 100% preventative, but it has definitely the rate of these injuries has dropped dramatically since that was discovered and pushed. Myelitis is inflammation of the spinal cord. You see itis, that's what that means, is inflammation. Lots of different causes, including lead poisoning. I've got kids in PPS right now. I do, fun. Very low concentrations of lead. Did y'all hear that news story? Yeah, and that's why everybody's scared, because lead poisoning can affect your nervous system. And actually quite low doses, because it builds up in your body. It can't be excreted very easily. And there's lots of different types. So poliomyelitis affects gray matter where you have this motor loss. Leukomyelitis, leuko meaning white, okay, affects the white matter. So then you'll have the sensory loss. And then if it's affecting both, you get both. And that's just because of where the nerves, cell, nuclei, everything are in the spinal cord. This is fairly rare. You won't see this very often as fairly rare for us to see as speech language pathologists and audiologists. This one you might hear more often, peripheral neuropathy. Y'all heard that before? And so this is an inflammation, and it results in degeneration of the spinal nerves. The most common thing you'll hear about is the degeneration in the feet, and it could be for many different reasons related to circulation problems like in diabetes, or there's toxin buildup. That typically will affect the feet first because they're the most vulnerable to changes in the ability of your body to sort of circulate out these toxins. And so this can lead to lack of feeling or partial loss of sensory information in the feet. And do y'all know why that's dangerous, especially in folks with diabetes?
Because if they can't feel a wound or something, a cut, it can get infected.
Yeah, and
that's why there's a lot of amputations, right?
That's exactly right. Yep. And so you'll see that a lot. Yeah.
And people with diabetes, wound healing is generally terrible anyway.
Yeah, so you've got this combination. So even if you realize the wound is there, the wound can be infected. But if you don't even realize it's there for a while, that's raised your risk for that wound not healing properly. It's really dangerous. Yeah. Okay. So I want to move on to the brainstem, so we have time to talk together more about how all these things are connected. So again, so now we're kind of moving up. It is interesting to teach this way because the old book went top down, where it started in the cerebral cortex and moved to the cranial nerves. I actually like this way better so far, but you'll have to tell me how y'all feel about it. So we're kind of moving up higher and higher as the brainstem go. So we were in the spinal cord and now we're up at the brainstem. That's where this model starts. So before we sort of walk through all these structures, and this is the view from y'all's drawing, right? So before we walk through the structures, which you should be pretty well up on now that you've spent quality time with your drawings, right? Feeling pretty good about that? Drawings are helpful, right? Probably know pretty well. Go back to that. Got distracted by drawings. I'm going to send this around, and what I want you to do is look at where these structures are in So you get just a better sense of physically where they are in 3 dimensions. Take the middle, take it apart so you can see how these things look like when you cut them down the middle. Be careful the center bone falls off. I've dropped it many times, don't worry. So this guy falls off a lot. And I'll send it around. Take your time. You can pass it around for the rest of the class, including the drawing section. So I'll review that when we get to it. Okay. So this is the anterior external organization of the brainstem. So that anterior view. You can see this structure, which is the brainstem. That's right. And those are the 3 main structures of your brainstem. The medulla on the bottom, the pons, which is the meaty bit. It always looks like a bump when you look at the brainstem, right? It's really dense looking. It has kind of a fibrous texture if you look at a cross section. And then you have the midbrain. These other structures that are shown are kind of where gives you a 3-dimensional perspective of where it's situated, and also the importance of the brainstem to where the cranial nerves exit. So all the cranial nerves exit through here. If we were going to get very detailed, as you would in a motor speech course and a graduate course, you might hear about it clinically first, but you'll need to have a good understanding of where these exit. In case you get somebody with a lesion somewhere, you'll know what to expect in terms of the cranial nerve deficits. So we're going to come back and talk about all the cranial nerves that are important in speech and language. A good number of them are. There are 12. And you can see all of them represented up here. And starting with the optic nerve and moving on down. The only one that's not on here actually is, there is one that's not on here. Which one is it?
Olfactory.
The olfactory. It goes under your brain. It's sort of a different, some little special thing. But they are, you can see they just go top to bottom. And some of them are closer together, some of them are farther away. So these all happen in a group. So we'll come back to that, but I just want to give you a sort of a preview there. And also keeping in mind that one of the main things you'll want to pay attention to is the groupings that are far apart. So a lesion here, for example, might affect any of these, but it's probably not going to affect the trigeminal. You see, that's why this is important. So we'll come back to that. But I would expect you to be able to walk through a picture like this and label the main structures and most of the cranial nerves that are visible here. And again, just do it top to bottom. Yes?
Can you talk a little bit about why the top parts are important, like the mammillary body and the
Those are important to connect to other things. The mammillary body is going to come back to you, so I'm going to put you off so you have time to talk about everything else. Okay. The optic chiasm has significance because that's where your visual information crosses over. And that'll be important for cranial nerves, so I'll go ahead and talk about that now. So does anybody understand how want to do a brief summary of how the optic chiasm works? Say it again.
It's lateral. So like you'll see something in your right eye, and the way it goes into your brain, it like switches sides.
Mm-hmm. But what's that called?
Conjunctival.
The other one. So it's the same,
Okay.
and punctuous and different, so it crosses sides. And that's
Contralateral, and then
and that's where it crosses, basically. So your retina is a collection of nerves, basically, that all collect into your optic nerve. That's a pretty direct pathway. Those go under your brain, under the optic chiasm, cross over to your occipital lobes. So it goes and crosses over.
So is the chasm actually that chasm or chiasm?
The optic chiasm.
The after chiasm, okay.
That's where that exit is.
Oh, so it's the entire axis.
Yeah, so if your eyeballs were up here, here are your eyeballs. Okay. Your optic nerve goes through, connects to here, crosses over, and then it goes further back, and it goes through primary visual cortex, which is occipital lobe. Yes.
I just am confused as to where the chiasm is compared to the optic nerve. Is the optic nerve?
It is it. It's part of it. It's just the
So
fibers
it's those
crossing
things
over.
coming out, right?
Yeah, again, the cartoon's not doing you any favors here, right?
Yeah.
So it's similar to the spinal cord, where that is the axons. That is the nerve. It just looks like a cartoon because they're just showing you an outline, but that is the nerve.
The whole thing.
And it's crossing over. So this is the nerve.
So that
So you have all these things are in pairs. You have one of these cranial nerves on each side. They go through it, and that's just sort of the one on the right and the one on the left cross.
so the whole thing is the nerve. The whole.
Yes.
Even the stalk and the stalk part of it?
No. I'm gonna ignore that for now. Do you have that? Somebody borrowed my book, and I've not yet gotten that. Do you want to look at page 23 if you have your books? Oh, okay. This is totally not related to what we're talking about right now. That's my kid pointing at Roka's area. I said, "Save Roka," and he did. I was gonna find you another image of the optic chiasm here.
Is that an Aussie?
No, it's actually in Houston, where I grew up at a health science museum, and they have a whole walkthrough of the brain. Cool. Yes. 22, 23. You all finding it? What are y'all finding?
The fields get
It
switched
talks about the
too.
visual system and it shows the left optic tract crossing over the optic chasm.
Chiasm. Here, I'll show you another picture here.
So it's actually just one half of each field that gets that crosses.
All right, everybody, try to hear. Go ahead.
So it's actually just one half of each visual field that crosses over, not the entire visual field.
Yeah. So we're not really getting into the sensory information, but this is a better image of it. This is the again, it's still cartoony, but this is what you'll usually see when we're talking about how your visual system works.
So for our drawings, I guess I'm just not quite sure how to show it's just the center of the cross.
You show the X. So the reason that I included it on y'all's drawing is because it's a really good landmark. It's a meaty structure, and so it'll almost always be visible on a scan. If you're looking at an image, or if you're looking at an actual cadaver sample, you'll be able to see the optic chiasm, so you can help orient yourself to what you're looking at. It's a good landmark.
So for the picture, do you want the optic nerves and optic tracts to be colored as if it's part of the optic chiasm or just the
It
little
is
center?
the optic chiasm.
So you're considering all of that?
The optic chiasm is the optic nerve. The word just literally means the optic crossover. Right? So you don't need to draw the eyes and the whole pathway, but yes, label it as part of that pathway. Yeah. So just so you understand better how it works, I don't expect all this on this picture, but this is where that optic chiasm comes from. We're not getting into the visual field right at this moment. That's a little more complex, as everything has been so far that we've talked about. You need the basic information, that the visual information goes down the optic tract, crosses over, and goes to the rest of the words. Okay? That's what you need to know. And we'll come back to the sensory systems in a little more detail. All right. Are we oriented better? The important thing from this view is the brain stem. Well, all of these different structures are important. They have specific functions that we're going to come back to. But right now, they're serving landmarks. So we can tell where we are in the brain stem. So when we're thinking of the brain stem, part of the reason is to understand the 3D structure. And so that if somebody has a lesion at a certain certain level, we know what functions might be affected. Okay? So whether that's vision because this area is affected or because the facial nerve is affected, you have abducens, facial, vestibulo, cochlear, glossopharyngeal, and vagus nerve affected, and on down the line there. Those exit at the level of the medulla. The trigeminal, which is a really big nerve, it's really important for your face. And the abducens and the facial nerve here are you're exiting near your pons, but your pons is kind of superior to those. And then you have the oculomotor nerves and the trochlear nerves, which are motor control for your eyes above that. And then you have the midbrain bits. So if you get an idea of where those things are in this view, and then you look at a lateral view here, and kind of go between the two, or take a look at the brain that's floating around, which I don't even have cranial nerves on it. Start to get a sense of how these things exit the brainstem, and what level they're at in 3 dimensions. Saw a hand when I peeked at a rubber list there.
I'm wondering if the medulla is like a prominent point on the spinal cord or if they're completely separate bodies. Because they kind of
They run together, so they're continuous. But no, it's not part of the spinal cord. It's in the brainstem. But the boundary isn't like marked,
okay.
so you won't necessarily see it.
It's not like prominent.
It's going to be above your vertebrae, and it will be more prominent. It's a little bit meatier than your spinal cord. Yes.
Figure 5-6 in the book shows a pretty good view of that. Kind
Of the contiguous organization.
yeah.
I'll keep looking, but I'll bring up my chapter and we can look at images together down on the slides. Are there other questions like that? Do you kind of have a sense of the 3 dimensions of this yet? Yeah.
I was wondering if the olives, if some pictures show that they kind of are circles next to the pyramid. They're not as long. But
Which
there's
picture?
I was Googling a lot of pictures.
Oh,
So I'm saying I was trying to get a good idea of what exactly they're supposed to look like. They look like pyramids, but they're just a little smaller and round, protrude a little or round.
If I could see examples, I could see it. There's going to be differences in all pictures you look at. And the details of those aren't as important as the relative positioning of things. Generally speaking, so I mean, that's just basically that last view, right? Oh, the stalks, the cerebral vehicles. Yeah, so that's just more detail. So if we, and this is the opposite view to the this is the posterior aspect. See, right here, posterior. So this is if we turned that previous picture that's not coming back up. Come on, slides, do your thing. There we go. So this is like if we took this and turned it around, right? Is that sort of what you were confused about? Like what we're looking at?
Maybe I was looking at the wrong view of that.
Yeah, that's key.
Why I was.
And that's a really good reason to know these landmarks, actually, that I hadn't thought of really. But you won't see the optic chiasm on this side because you're looking at it from a different angle. So the anterior view is where you see that. So if you don't see the optic chiasm, it can be because they've tried to simplify the picture, which it can be problematic, or it could just be because it's the posterior aspect.
So it's just pyramids and olives. And is there anything after them, or is it the whole thing, the pyramid?
Pyramids and the olives.
Yeah.
From the posterior view.
Yeah, or what's, I guess, around it? Maybe it's something I just need to.
Where's that brain that's floating around? Let's take a look at the brain. Who has it right now? So you have blood supply. Everything. That's okay, it happens. And you're gonna be graded on how well you put it back together. That's it. You can hold on to the rest of that. Hold on, see if I can get it back together. Is this the right side?
That piece came out.
Oh, hold on. Did you get it this way?
Now I can. It's a little.
I have to do that one. But around that, you have dura mater, you have the meninges, so you have the dura mater, the pia mater, and the arachnoid, and you have blood supply, but there's nothing else around it. Is that what you were sort of asking?
No, what is the,
Like what's in it?
what's the medulla? Is it just pyramids and all of them, that's the whole medulla?
Yes. So there's not more to it than what you're seeing in the pictures.
That's
Okay. Gotcha. Caught up with you. Okay. Yeah, I usually take a long time with questions because I want to make sure I've answered
Yeah.
everything.
Thank you.
Because this is confusing. Or it can be confusing. I'm going to get back to Brittany. Plastic pieces. I can put back a temporal lobe. That's not how that works. Okay. So again, this view, you can see where the nerves exit the brainstem. You can see where the nerves are exiting here at the pons level, at the medulla level, and at the other level. And this is where the optic tract comes around. Okay? What was funny?
Just the other level,
Oh, sorry. The
midbrain.
midbrain. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
That's okay. You're loud.
I know that.
It's okay. No, that's why I asked. I thought maybe I said something wrong. That happens sometimes. Did I see another question? Yeah, she can.
So I know that the optic size when you can see it only from the anterior view, but like its actual location is still in the posterior part of your brain, right? The crossing over only happens at the back of your brain. Am I understanding that?
It's further back.
Like, so
That's going to come back around so you can see it. Let's see if we can go back and look at that 3D brain. Do other people have that question too? So it's not posterior to the brainstem.
Yeah, I understand that. So it's anterior as far as the brainstem goes, but posterior, I'm talking about the cerebrum. It's like
Right here.
okay.
It's ventral. And it's sort of right in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you take a look at how the brain is organized from the ventral surface here, the brainstem's like a little bit back from center, but it's mostly in the center-ish, and it kind of angles backwards, right? So it doesn't come straight down from your brain like this. It kind of tilts and then goes down to your spinal cord, because your spinal cord is very much on the very dorsal part of your body, so it has to sort of angle to get there. And the optic chiasm is more or less in the middle. Right there. Does that help? Okay. Yep. Spend some quality time on these websites. They really, really are helpful to figure all that out. And then when you turn it, here you can see where this optic tract travels around. Okay? So it's not in one place, it's static. These things are tracks. That means they're traveling. Train tracks. Just tracked with the T instead of the K. And again, turn it all the way around. This is another view of all these different structures. Midbrain, pons, medulla. Here we go. Sorry. Where you have the cranial nerves coming out of those different levels. And this just sort of drives it home. When in the future, in this class, you will be asked a little more specifically about the different sub-pieces of these. So I'll say, where are the peduncles? But by and large, what you'll be expected to know are the 3 levels. I've never seen a review for neuro in future courses that asks much more than that, unless you're doing a motor course, in which case you can talk about it and that. So know these really, really well. They're really, really important. When I say really, really important, this is going to be on exam, right? And then for the other pieces, I might expect you to be able to fill in the labels that I provide. Does that make sense? Yes.
What did you say the difference is between the pyramid and the olive? In the brainstem? Like when you turn it, is it? Because I know in the front, it's the pyramids are the big ones in the front, olives on the side. So if you turn it, is it?
Can you see it on the other view?
Yeah, like the.
So your pyramid is with the olives. It doesn't really show you what one is in. It's the same. It's just turned. So the middle and the side. And the pyramids are pyramidal shaped, sort of.
And then what's the back? That's also pyramid, or?
anybody have the app downloaded?
I did, it didn't show.
Still doesn't show more detail.
Well, actually, I looked for detail in the cerebellum and it didn't show any more detail than just that bit. Like, it didn't show the different lobes.
So my understanding of how this works is that is still the pyramids that come down the center. And there's these three-dimensional pyramidally shaped, and they get narrower as you go down. And the olives are the meaty bits that sort of are on the side. And they wrap around a little bit, but they are mostly on the sides. That other view that we looked at. Yeah. And the olives kind of wrap around, and you can see the tracks on the exterior, or the posterior version here. You have the olives, and you saw the pyramids coming down the middle. And there's a lot of other detail in here that we're not even really into. And I wouldn't trust myself to know it off the top of my head either.
So for the exam, we need to be able to label all the nerves too.
So it's not as hard as you think. They go in order, top to bottom. Yeah.
Do you want us to just like recognize them on an image, or do you want us to like know where they originate and like where they insert?
I want you to know about those things and how origin and insertion points work, but we're going to come back to that. We're going to create orders. Yeah. Yes.
Also, I assume you want us to know the number associated with this other name, like project.
Oh yeah, we should definitely know the parents. That's pretty standard. We'll come back to creating orders. We're not there yet. Let's talk about the functions. The functions are the important part. I want to give y'all time, the understanding the 3D orientation of these things and how they work, and what you do in the second part of class. So I want to save time for that. Okay, and I'll be walking around and answering your individual questions, because every person's questions in here are really unique to how your brain works, right? Where you're trying to understand it in 3 dimensions, and everybody in here probably does that a slightly different way. So I don't mind the questions, keep them coming, but it'll be a lot better if I'm able to walk around so that everybody else has a chance to sort of walk through it also. Does that make sense? Ideally, these kinds of classes would have a required lab with like 5 TAs so we could all do it, but you've got me and not 5 TAs, so we'll make it work. And usually an anatomy class does have a required lab component. I'm working on it. We can't add it this year. Okay. So in general, your brainstem functions, we've talked about this, right? Your brainstem functions regulate basic life functions. Your heartbeat, respiration. The head and neck reflexes are important because of the cranial nerves. And also really important here are alertness and wakefulness. So there's something called the reticular activating system in the brainstem that's responsible, for example, for coma. So when it's underregulated, somebody will be in a lower or higher comatose state. So that's also important to understand. And that can happen not from the brainstem itself being damaged, but from communication with that system being impaired because of a larger brain injury or metabolic change that affects neural function. And so that's in general, those are the main bits of the brainstem. And it does a lot more than that because all the tracks travel through it, but that's what is key to understanding about the brainstem. And what's the significance of that? We've talked about that in terms of traumatic brain injury.
The most critical injuries are at the level of the brainstem.
It could be impacted if there's any kind of swelling in the brain.
Yeah. So if the brainstem itself is damaged, it's really imperative that you get medical treatment to reduce the swelling right away because you can die from the reduced respiration and not just the cranial nerve effects, but the actual respiration and heartbeat. Right. Okay. Let's talk about cranial nerves. So you'll see a lot of posters like this. And later in the term, when we talk about speech and swallowing, we're going to revisit the cranial nerves again. They're the key to understanding motor speech. They'll be drilled into your head when you take something like motor speech disorders as a graduate student. And if you work with somebody that has motor impairments, you need to understand which nerves do what, especially in terms of speech and swallowing. you get online and look for other resources, there are a ton of visuals like this, where you'll find kind of what each nerve does, talking about whether it's motor or sensory or both, and there's a lot of different mnemonics around how to memorize these things. Do y'all remember the mnemonic from the book?
I didn't think it was helpful.
You didn't find that one helpful? Can you turn off your video for a second? I'll give you the dirty one and you'll never forget it.